When you hear the word automation, what comes to mind? Probably robots, right? Cutting-edge tech. But what if I told you the real story, the origin story, starts more than 2,000 years ago? That's what we're going to dig into today, the surprisingly long and honestly fascinating history of automation. I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? The one that's kind of buzzing in the back of all of our minds. You see the headlines about AI, you hear about self-driving cars, and you can't help but wonder, what does this mean for my job? It's a real fear. But here's the thing. To get a real handle on the robots of tomorrow, we actually have to go back in time, and I mean way back. Think ancient Greece. Because the real story of automation, it's so much older and more tangled than you'd ever guess. So let's just dive right in. All right, first things first. What are we even talking about when we say automation? It's one of those buzzwords we hear constantly, but what does it actually mean? Okay, so at its heart, it's not just about, a giant robot arm on a car assembly line. It's much broader. Think of it as any technology, whether it's mechanical, electrical, or pure software, that's built to cut down on a human having to step in and do something. The secret ingredient, the real magic behind almost all automation, is something called a feedback loop. Now, that sounds super technical, right? But I guarantee it, you use one every single day without a second thought. Just think about the thermostat in your house. It's this super simple cycle: measure, compare, and then act. That's it. That's the DNA of automation. And that same little loop isn't just happening in your thermostat. It's the exact same principle running the most advanced, high-tech factories on the planet. So, okay, that's the basic idea. But how in the world did we get from a simple home thermostat to the incredibly complex robots we see today? Well, it's been a very, very long journey. Just look at this timeline. It's wild. It all kicks off with a water clock in ancient Greece. That's the first known feedback mechanism, right there. Fast forward a couple thousand years to the Industrial Revolution, and you see James Watt using that exact same idea to control steam engines. And get this, the word automation itself, nobody even used it until 1947 when Ford coined it. And today, we're living in what they call Industry 4.0, where whole factories are just these massive networked feedback systems. But all of this amazing progress, it comes with a cost. There's a huge trade-off here. And honestly, it's the central dilemma at the very heart of the whole automation debate. I mean, look, on the one side, the benefits are obvious. You get way more done, the quality is often better and more consistent, and you can take people out of really dangerous or mind-numbingly boring jobs. But the flip side is just as real. It costs a ton of money to set up. One little glitch can bring the whole system crashing down, and then there's the big one, the one everyone's worried about: displacing workers. And that brings us to this number. Wow. So back in 2013, a major study out of Oxford University dropped a bombshell. They predicted that by the 2030s, almost half, 47% of all U.S. jobs could be at high risk from automation. Just let that number sink in for a second. 47%. And this quote from the economists Bringelson and McAfee, it just nails it. They say, and I'm quoting here, "There's never been a worse time to be a worker with only ordinary skills and abilities to offer." It's powerful stuff. What they're saying is that the game has changed. If your job is just a series of routine tasks, you're vulnerable. But if you bring creative, strategic thinking to the table, that's where you can really shine. And this isn't some sci-fi future we're talking about. This is right here, right now. Automation is completely woven into the fabric of our everyday lives, sometimes in ways we don't even notice. Just think about your day. Have you used a self-checkout recently? Ordered food from a kiosk? That package that showed up on your doorstep? A robot probably moved it around a warehouse. Does your thermostat adjust itself? From the food we eat, grown with automated tractors, to the way we get around, it's everywhere. It's not science fiction anymore. It's just the invisible plumbing of the modern world. Okay, but here's where the whole story gets really interesting. It takes a twist you might not expect. Just when you think this is a simple story about machines replacing people, you run smack into something called the human paradox. A cognitive psychologist named Lisanne Bainbridge came up with this, and it's a game changer. She says the more efficient the automated system, the more crucial the human contribution of the operators. It completely flips the script on how we think about this stuff. So what does that actually mean? Well, think about it. The better our automated systems get, the more we trust them to just run. But when something goes wrong, when the unexpected happens, the machine is lost. And that's when you need a sharp, skilled human to step in and fix things. So even though the human is doing less day to day, the moments when they do have to act become incredibly important. There's a really tragic real-world example of this: Air France Flight 447. The plane's automated systems were so good, the pilots rarely had to fly it manually. But then, a key sensor failed, the autopilot disengaged, and suddenly they were thrown into a confusing, high-stakes situation they just weren't prepared for. It's a truly sobering reminder that at the end of the day, that skilled human is the final and most important safety net. So this all brings us back to the big question. As our machines get smarter and handle all the routine stuff, what's the crucial work that's left for us? The answer seems to be everything the machines can't do. The creative leaps, the critical thinking, the complex, messy problem solving. Those aren't just nice to have skills anymore, they're becoming the most essential skills of all.